we get to cast Europe. I'm pretty excited to see the performance of these teams. PENTA Sports against Team Singularity. Both these teams are actually pretty even, and it's hard to say who is going to be stronger. So most likely we will see all 3 games, and Nature's Prophet and Jakiro from side of PENTA, plus Team Singularity going for Tusk and Disruptor. Tusk is a very decent roamer, but from the side of a PENTA they get a very strong support Jakiro. Plus Nature's Prophet, who is most likely going to be in the offlane and rotate all around the map, and the Earthshaker in the offlane for Singularity.
That Earthshaker offlane particularly a very common pick for Singularity, especially in the combination with the Tusk. We've seen it a lot recently just because the combination of the easy initiation you get and not the lack of reliance on Blink Dagger, right, in the early engagements. And of course you combine with Disruptor, you have a really nice early game for Singularity. Not the strongest lanes, but it's very hard to try to gank these heroes. Disruptor and Tusk can really punish you if you try to go further, and they can get also easy ganks once you Disruptor maxes glimpse, hopefully. And you start punishing PENTA for being out of position. And of course, we see the typical PENTA pick, that Lone Druid. This time they'll also be combining it with a Nature's Prophet, going for a full push strat. Lone Druid, Jakiro, and Nature's Prophets. Easy lanes, secure lanes to begin with. And of course, a lot of pushing power for that mid game. How are you liking this strategy for now?
Well, to be honest, isn't it too much? I mean, Lone Druid needs quite a bit of a time to start being actually strong and useful in the pushing and the fights. He needs to get his Radiance, if it is like this kind of build, or if it is a right-click one, to get his Dragonlance or whatever he will go for. While from the other Team Singularity, we get a very aggressive position 4, as Tusk, Earthshaker in the very beginning of the game can rotate to mid. Also, if his lane won't be that successful, plus Necrophos creates a lot of pressure on its lane, and after that, most likely Singularity will just group up, and it will be hard to survive this. But Venomancer for a carry, I guess, for PENTA Sports probably will save the day.
The Lone Druid mid, Venomancer carry, that's interesting. That's even more pushing power. High ground defense, stronger lanes as well with the Venomancer. Pretty easy to leave him alone, so Jakiro can rotate much more freely. And Jakiro's a pretty decent rotator as it comes with an Ice Path. You can even go for the old Jakiro build as opposed to the dual breath. You can get like 1 or 2 points into Ice Path, max Liquid Fire, and this will be quite useful to ensure that Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid don't die. And like you said, that Venomancer against the Necrophos, best way to deal with this annoying man, as when he goes and uses the Ghost Shroud, it's like, ha! Get amplified damage from all my skills. And Venomancer could even go for the Aghanim's build. This game would not be a bad idea. Early on, of course, they'll discord into Aghanims so that Necrophos can get destroyed completely. I'm really liking PENTA Esports lineup. And the question is now, Team Singularity has one last pick, probably their mid laner, I want to say. What mid laner can deal with this insane amount of pushing power safely?
Oh, it's hard to say about this safely, but at least, in my opinion, there may be some kind of a Lena, on the mid lane. I'm not sure if she stands quite decently against the Lone Druid, but at least she got a wave clear, plus it's easy to burst down Lone Druid. So also a non-targeted stun can catch up Nature's Prophet in his sprouts. But PENTA are actually going for a very interesting pick from that point of view, that probably they realized that it will be really hard to compete against Tusk and Disruptor when you already got Nature's Prophet plus Jakiro. And I'm not sure if they are that strong in the 5 versus 5, because there is an Echo Slam, there is a Static Storm plus Scythe, which helps it to easily shut down one of the heroes almost immediately. They got a decent amount of burst from side of a Team Singularity, so instead of probably trying to fight Singularity, in their own game, they're going for this amazing split push. There's already Veno, Nature's Prophet, who will be able to join the fight afterwards very fast. Lone Druid, who can go out of the control and destroy towers with an insane speed. And what's very interesting also, Venomancer is that kind of a hero who farms really fast, gets his early level 6, and creates a lot of pressure on the lanes. And I'm actually interested how Singularity will deal with this, because you can't control the whole map in the same time. You only got 5 heroes, and
that's true.
Well, from one side you got a Nature's Prophet, another one there is a Venomancer. Will be hard to control the split.
That DK, interesting ban. I was more thinking to ban something along the lines of a Co-op or Invoker, or maybe even Lina to some degree, just to stop the split push. But yeah, I mean, it is a typical pick for Singularity. I don't think it was the best pick of this game. I think this game, honestly, for Singularity, even though it's not the most common of picks for them, the Invoker would be really good to get a Tornado. The early game is already pretty secure for you, so you could go for that. As for Penta, they need a support. I don't think they want to go for a support that gives him pushing power. I think a support here that would give you a little more stability in the lanes would be nicer. Be a Witch Doctor, perhaps, would not be a bad idea here. We'll see what they pick up. Only 3 more seconds till we see the support, and oh, Jakiro position 5, Sanking position. Okay, I thought it was going to be Jakiro position 4, but turns out Sanking position 4 instead. Giving you a lot of team fight potential. Wow, this is really good. This is really good for Penta. Now they completed their draft. Now they actually have some sort of stun and some nice setup for the team fight. A lot of magical damage still. And now Team Singularity. What can they pick to counter this? Oh!
Wow.
I was not expecting that. Let's Necrophos mid then. Or Earthshaker mid. No, Necrophos mid.
That's actually a very interesting decision for, to some degree, Anti-Mage can deal with the split push, and he is actually a very decent split push all in all. He doesn't suffer that much from all this magical damage from side of a Penta, like they get Jakiro, Venomance, and Sanking, who mostly rely on magical damage. Yeah, plus their spells are got a pretty huge mana cost, so Anti-Mage, one big mana void, most likely won't destroy the whole Penta squad, but at least deal a lot of damage to them, in addition with the Static Storm and Echo Slam. That may be a 5-man wipe. Yet I'm not sure if Anti-Mage will be able to survive this to the moment, but they get like from both sides. From one side there is an Anti-Mage, from another side there is a Laundry. They both need their time to get their core items to start being actually useful and reach their full potential in the game. So I guess that was a very smart pick from side of a Singularity.
It is an interesting pick, certainly, that Anti-Mage. Not expected. Not even one of Exotic Deer's. Sorry. Not even one of Exotic Deer's, like, singular carries, so it's definitely not, or star carries, per se. There's definitely not one of those heroes that you would, just expect him to play because he's comfortable with them. And in the end, they seem to be... Yeah, okay, so they're going to leave Patos alone in the bottom lane. That's interesting. Running Anti-Mage in an aggressive tri-lane, which is not a bad idea, especially with a build that I've seen once or twice, which is the 1-1-3 build, maxing Spell Shield as opposed to anything else, considering Penta Esports is literally only magical damage in the early game, and up to the mid game. Until Lone Druid gets a lot of items, when Nature's Prophet gets his Orchid, they're really going to rely on that magical damage, so it could be a Spell Shield max first for Anti-Mage, get a couple levels only in the Blink as the game progresses, and use your supports to defend you, because you have two really strong supports in Disruptor and Tusk, which can cancel the enemy team's aggression. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good game. I think both drafts are pretty... Like, they have a lot of synergy between them. They've thought about each other's drafts, but it's mainly synergistic. It's very different from the American region. They don't actually counterpick each other as much. And we'll see if this works.
And actually, there's already a Sanking on the bottom lane. They're taking the bounty run and dodging the Anti-Mage aggressive tri-lane. Question is, will they be able to contest that? To be honest,
no, you can't. You can't contest either. In the bottom lane, you have the Nature's Prophet with insane right click, and of course the vision from the trees. DNZ with a stun, which is low range but still pretty strong. And meanwhile, in the top lane, we've already talked about how strong the Tusk Disruptor combination is.
Yeah, they got plenty of lockdown, and the question is what first spell for Exotic Deer is going to be Blink or Mana Break.
I'd say Mana Break, because you're in an aggressive tri-lane after a right? You're going to be fighting against a Venomancer and a Jakiro. The Blink is really useful to stop any and all their damage. But yeah, he goes for Mana Break to get the extra harassment. After all, you still have the Poor Man's Shield, the extra tangos. The chance of Skitter being able to kill you early on in the lane, very, very low.
For Venomance, it may be problematic, especially Jakiro is not one of the heroes. Like, he will go for the dual Breath Liquid Fire build most likely. Meanwhile, they're going on Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie's being harassed and he's gonna go down. That's the first blood. No, actually, yeah, it should be first blood. Eliza is being stunned out. The Burrow Strike hurting him too much. DNZ gets that second kill, and Exotic Deer taking away all the mana from DNZ. He's gonna lose that extra damage from the Mana Break, as DNZ has just lost all of that mana, but he still has the mango. He could get a counter kill still if he eats the mango. Ooh, what a nice ice shards. If it wasn't because the mango was ready and the burst strike was as well. Exardia tries to help his teammate out. Will try to get a counter kill as well onto DNZ. They have vision of him, but he doesn't have blink just yet. The thunder strike will just end up finishing him off. And Elizish is fighting against Skitter here. Dual breath hits Exotic Deer. Does not have the spell shield just yet. He uses the blink last second. He just hit level 2 and will be able to blink away as the Disruptor is mowing down the enemy team. He's man fighting all of them, and the Jakiro just can't withstand this damage. The ice shard actually misses, and they're unable to get that final kill onto Boogie. Still a pretty good engagement by Singularity, especially by this Disruptor.
Yeah, what's the most important part? That Anti-Mage participated in all 3 kills and didn't die. That last second level up on him literally saved the day.
Yeah, it's true. It is. The level 2, he actually was near the creep wave, which is the most interesting part. He always kept the creep wave around him, so that means creeps died around him and gave him experience, on top of obviously getting those kills. So I don't know if that was intelligent on him or just pure chance, but good play regardless. And also a really good play by Elizish here in Disruptor was that he actually knows that... Oh, wait. Skitter. Yeah, there's no way you're making it out of this kinetic field to make sure he stays stuck, and they're going to kill him off. So Disruptor...
How he actually got this?
He's a high HP support, despite the fact that he's an intelligence support. So he's actually can withstand Jakiro's magical damage pretty well early on in the game, which is what he did there in that team fight. Really well played, knowing when to fight the engagements and how to stay there and play aggressively, because he knows he can withstand all this damage early on. Also the early boots, of course, which were really useful to escape.
Well, and Skitter actually keeps on going to the top lane. They still want to have a Nature's Prophet against Vadas on the bottom lane, and I'm not sure if this Venomancer really wants to stay in there. There are no Plague Wards on him. Venomous Gale plus Poison Sting at least grant some kind of a possibility to compete with Singularity aggressive tri lane, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's the time to get the Plague Wards and rotate somewhere in the jungle, because most likely Kaysor won't let him have a good time on the lane. There are already shots, Snowball plus Kinetic Field and Glimpse, a lot of control, and a very angry anti-mage on the lane.
Yeah, an angry anti-mage that also went for the typical 1-1-1 build. Now, this next point is the most important one. Any classic anti-mage players wants to level stats, of course, but you don't really have that option, so it really determines how you're going to play as anti-mage with that next point. Exotic Deer going on to Skitter, that blink offensively. The objective is the Venomancer, but Elizish will die first thanks to DNC's damage. In comes Nature's Prophet with the teleportation, is able to kill Kaysor, or Kasor. This poor Tusk will not survive this attack, and thanks to Owned Me's attack, or the teleportation, they're able to get those important kills. Really good rotation here by Nature's Prophet.
What's very interesting is that finally they utilized this TP on Nature's Prophet, actually. Oh, Lisa, what are you doing here, buddy? Going alone, trying to get a kill, probably not the best idea. And finally Skitter gets 2 kills, a bit of a rehabilitation. And look at the niche, where is he standing? He was standing really literally under the tier 1.
Really good kill on the bear. That's 300 extra gold that Nisha just got, which doesn't show in the kill charts, but it was essentially more than a kill early on. And he's really utilizing that Nature's Prophet's lane domination pretty well. He's been going for a Heartstopper Aura build as opposed to the typical Ghost Shroud build, because he's playing him in the mid lane. He's looking to have more impact. Probably we're going to see some sort of rate of Atos or Force Staff or Blink Dagger or something like that, as opposed to the traditional Guarding Grease Magic Stick build.
That's pretty interesting game, all in all. How's it going to work out? Skitter on the top lane got 11 stick charges. That's a lot of sustain on Venomancer, but actually he completely ignores Plague's Ward, and he's ready to fight. 2 points in Gale and 2 points in Poison Sting. Plus now they got a TP in 3 actually on Nature's Prophet. That's interesting build.
No, I don't think that. No, that's the traditional build nowadays. A 2-2-2. To get the 2 points of Venomous Gale to get the enough damage per tick to be relevant, but also a bit of Poison Sting. But anyway, mid lane. The Necrophos, Fear, they root him. Nisha cannot survive this. It's the Fairy Fire, but the Ghost Shroud doesn't heal you enough. And unfortunately, used the Ghost Shroud a bit too early there, and just suffered from the magical damage. I mean, that was a 3-man gank, so what can you do?
Finally, this additional +1 hero, aka Nature's Prophet, is really helping Penta to win this team fight. 3 points in TP, 30 seconds cooldown on this. That's pretty interesting on Nature's Prophet, in my opinion, but there is a lot of aggression from side of a Singularity, and you can really punish that with this +1 hero in every single team fight.
He has a lot of global potential. I mean, we saw this with Team Wolf yesterday in the American qualifiers. The global potential of Nature's Prophet if you played well. If you have enough map control, you can get constant kills and also get owned to me a lot of potential farm. And of course, fast Orchid, which against an anti-mage is going to be very important. Because you're going to be able to get the Orchid before the anti-mage gets his Manta style, and then he's screwed. He really can't do anything to try to harass you.
And actually, anti-mage got 2 points in mana break. That's
aggressive anti-mage. Maybe a Vanguard anti-mage, perhaps? The Aoi style? But no, he went for Poor Man's Shield. But it is an interesting build. I was expecting more Spell Shield or even Blink just because of the amount of aggression anything can put out.
Yep. And Boogie cuts his way through the trees to safety. Well, probably soon they will try to get a kill.
Yeah, Exotic Deer is the objective. Skitter, you're walking a bit too far. No, the Burrow Strike finds the Tusk, and he sells the Snowball to survive this. Goes on to Skitter. The Ice Shard as well to close him in, but the Ice Shard actually missed, and Exotic Deer now is slow to Oblivion with the Venomous Kill. The help from the Nature's Prophet, the Glimpse sends him back to his lane, but this Anti-Mage will die anyway as they have enough stuns to keep him in place. And in the end, Penta actually, they're glad they got the Glimpse because that's a free TP back to lane. Good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, and it feels like finally the trialing from side of a Penta is stronger, a lot of stick charges on Venomancer, and finally a point in the Plague Ward. Meanwhile, 2-man rotation on the mid lane, and Nisha may die here.
Yeah, in the bottom lane, Patos actually gets a kill, but in the mid lane, Nisha, a more important target. As Necrophos wants to kill Blazemon to try to heal, uses the ultimate, but is not able to kill him, sanking in time. Goes right to heal, uses the magic stick as well, and with that Death Pulse, he's able to kill the sanking, getting the Sadist cure. And Patos has no fissure, so he can't really kill anyone just yet because they don't have the stun necessary. Lone Druid picks the right. That was the right path, because this is the obvious one. This is the less obvious one because it's much more dangerous, but you know the supports are rotating, so they're not going to come from the offlane because the Earthshaker and the Tusk both rotated to catch you, and they're following behind you. Really, really clever idea there by Blazemon, and probably saved his life.
Yeah, but I was surprised by the amount of survivability from side of Nisha.
Oh, he's a Necrophos.
He heals insanely fast. Yeah, that's a Necrophos. Even though it was a 3-man rotation on him, he managed to survive that and get a kill on Sanking. That's pretty neat. And Blazemon is suffering without his trustworthy Spirit Bearer for 30 more seconds. And Exotic Deer was forced to rotate to the bottom lane, yet they keep on harassing him.
Stun comes out, but Kinetic Field might put DNZ in a bad position. They can now start pressuring him a lot. The Snowball, the objective is not own me. They still want to kill DNZ, and they have the Ice Shards. No more Burst Strike because he is out of mana. Finally, the Magic Stick. Burst Strike on the 2, and they want to try fighting this. Kasor is about to die. DNZ being, destroyed by the Anti-Mage, and in the end, this Tusk will sacrifice his life together with the Disruptor. So that's 2 kills for 1. Ends up benefiting Penta Esports yet again, but at least Exotic Deer survived this.
That was a very good stun by the Sanking, plus a very high damage from side of a Nature's Prophet is literally destroying both supports from side of a Penta. They don't have that much of an armor, and owned me with Phase Boots, and actually going for Maelstrom deals a lot of damage, especially on the early stages of a game.
I mean, yeah, they're utilizing they're utilizing their lineup really well here in Penta Esports. Now they're going to start doing a lot of pushing in the top lane, utilizing the Lone Druid even better, as he's got enough farming to get the Gloves of Haste, which makes the Spirit Bear hits quite fast and quite strongly. And of course, Blazemon will be going for the typical Lone Druid build nowadays, not the new build, not that old build with the Lone Druid hero instead of the bear. So thank God for that. We don't have to see that again. Now, bottom lane, or mid lane, sorry, they come with the Echo Slam, and that's a dead Venomancer. Reaper tries to finish him off. Boogie is going to say sayonara as Nisha finishes him off. That level 10 talent getting him the 40 damage necessary to get the final kill. And with the extra heal, then you can just proceed to attack this tower now.
Well, trading your own carry plus bot for a tower on the top lane, I'm not sure if that's not much of a worthy trade, but that's the trade they have to take. Not that much they can do, and they can pressure 2 lanes in the same time with the Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid. But now they keep on fighting for the mid lane tower.
Sorry, Exotic Dio is really close to being burst striked and killed, but never mind, he would have survived that. Anyway, yeah, mid town. Denied. Oh no, took by Nisha. Alright, and now the Venomancer continues to attack this. And Tusk has the haste, and they will deny him in time! Oh, that haste rune was the perfect denial. Good stuff, good stuff.
Well, at least they kill It didn't happen, and the only Deny Exotic Deer finally gets his peaceful lane to farm, but so has Blazeman. There is not that much of aggression happening on the side lanes anymore, and most of the fights are happening on the mid lane. It feels like both teams actually calmed down. They traded necessary kills in the very beginning. Now time to farm their core items, wait for the Midas on Lone Druid, which is actually already up, and next item is Radiance.
And the ENG is now being harassed in the bottom lane. He's out of mana. He doesn't have any magic stick charges. He's going to go down to the Mana Void. And that's another kill for Singularity. They're really trading kills left and right. In fact, in this kill trading game, who do you think is leading right now? Who do you think is getting the upper hand of these engagements? Who benefits more from getting these kills?
Well, I would go for Singularity, to be honest. That they're getting a little bit of kills. And what's very interesting, if you will take a look at the net worth amount of gold, which Necrophos actually has, is insane. He's 2k gold ahead of everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
And he's actually going for the Radiance build on the Necro. Well, that's not that common of a choice, but I guess it's good when you're playing against some kind of a right-clickers plus additional sustain.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Mid Necrophos, not that common either, right? And you need to have a lot of impact if you're playing a mid Necrophos. You can go for a lot of Atos build, but even that build is not as high impact. In fact, what he chose was probably the best option. This Radiance is going to be really useful. And in the mid lane, no, man, you still got to kill on to Husk. I really like that Radiance build, especially against a lone druid to be able to kill him. And Blazemon, oh, is going to be found out. There's some harassment from the Death Pulse. Good Savage Roar will save him. Nisha still gets those creeps in the jungle, so that Blazemon can't really farm this. And I also like the fact that he went for Phase Boots. Usually not the most common build on Necrophos. Usually go for Treads or something of that sort. But Phase Boots really help out if you want to deal the extra damage with your level 10 talent. Nisha's playing really well this game.
Yeah, actually, if we will take a look at this damage. 89 plus 130, that's a lot. Wow, that's a heavy right clicks from the Necro, and there was a smoke. But there was already a ward there by Venomance. The question is, did they notice it? But most likely not. Skitter.
Alright, that was okay. Glimpse, they're very confident. Static Storm, they will find the Venomancer. Reaper Sight to finish him off, and Nisha will just heal back up completely. Good stuff. That was a weird smoke. They go from low ground to high ground, which is something you never want to do with smokes. You also go in the middle of Plague Wards. If it wasn't because they have Disruptor, that would have been a pretty bad play. But hey, Disruptor makes any bad gank a working one.
Yeah, especially with the 4 points in the Gleams. But meanwhile, they're losing their bottom tower, and they know that they can't really contest with that. They got no Blink Tag on Shaker, and actually it's flying in the career. Yep, it's flying in the career. Probably that's time for another fight, but they got no Static Storm and Disruptor plus no Scythe, so they need to chill a little bit now. And look at this army of Treants on the bottom lane plus Boogie. Actually got 2 points in the Ice Path and only 1 point in Liquid Fire.
We'll see. Oh, there's the Epicenter from the Sand King. It finds Patos. No, he stops it with the Echo Slam. Ice Path with the Macropyre as well. And they have a lot of damage. Patos wants to fight. Is in the middle of the Macropyre. Doesn't really care. The Tusk comes in with the Snowball. And that's going to be a dead Sand King. A Singularity stop the initiation from the Sand King completely. And even get the kill on top of that. Lysash tries to TP away. But the Ice Path will prevent this. He's stunned for too long. He's going to go down. Nothing that Patos can do to save him.
It feels like both towers will fall. They can't really defend the mid lane, or unless Nisha actually commits in, most likely Blazeman will go down here. Question? Nah, they will be completely fine. He's trying to run away, and yet there is a Blink Dagger plus Fisher zoning out Blazeman. Nah, he is too tanky.
Oh, careful. Nisha has been stunned out. He still has the Radiance, though, to attack the NZ. Not gonna find him in time. Yeah, in the end, yeah. They're not gonna push this too hard, saying he could still punish them. And you see that Penta starting to lose a bit of the grip on the map. They have a lot of pushing power, and they are doing a bit of the split pushing as expected, but the team fights are not going their way anymore. Especially against that Earthshaker. Maybe now they can kill this Tusk. Sprout. They find him. Also Venomous Gale. Tusk has no mana. Okay. I think that was excessive. He had no mana. He didn't have enough for Snowball either. He has no magic stick charges or nothing, anything on him that allowed him to get mana back. Seemed like that was unnecessary.
What's pretty interesting is that this Necrophos is so far ahead, and with this Radiance he will farm super fast, will heal a lot from the Sadist, yeah, and soon it feels like we will see a double amount of a net worth on him. and they're getting killed on the DNZ, committing static storm. Nah. Well, I really like this, that they're not waiting for some kind of a golden opportunities to get a kill there, just picking any.
Well,
any is good.
I think in this case, though, Static Storm is compared to Poison Nova. Poison Nova cooled on 140 seconds, Static Storm 90. Static Storm is not that bad of a spell to use, especially in the early game. The Virtus Pro style we were talking about earlier. In the same way that Virtus Pro does that with RP, does that with Static Storm, they don't do that with things like the Poison Nova, for example, or the Black Hole. Yeah, they really do take the 90 seconds as like the threshold where you can still abuse it kind of a lot. What was impressive there, though, as well to me was Necrophos's damage, just physical damage, mind you. Every single attack deals so much, and with the Reaper Scythe is really effective. And now Nisha is walking up to the top lane. He can just farm this calmly because he knows he has so much healing potential right now.
Yeah, and a very heavy right clicks. Next item he's going to get is Blink Dagger, probably the one you were hoping for. Yeah. That's quite of an interesting. He can get to anyone very fast. Plus with the Ghost Shroud, it will be pretty hard to take him down. Oh, Boogie getting kicked.
Punched. The kick is something different. Don't now that the Agnes is there, you need to make sure that kick could have sent him flying. But that was a good kill as well, using the glimpse very well. Have you noticed how many glimpses they've been getting just to punish whenever a support is warding here? Lysish especially, he's just all over the map, TPing constantly. He hasn't really been making stacks or anything that support would usually do. He's been punishing plays, which is how you should play Disruptor, really, if you have the upper hand in the late game anyway. And now we see Anti-Mage going to the top lane, finding the Venomancer. He's really low on mana, so Mana Void is going to hurt Mr. Venomancer. But he uses the Venomous Gale, forcing him to use Blink offensively, and then comes the Nature's Prophet. They want to try to fight this. Exotic Deer taking a lot of damage. Where's the Mana Void? They don't have vision of him. Tusk will come in with a Snowball, and now they do. They even commit the Static Storm, and with the Mana Void, they'll destroy him, and Exotic Deer is fighting against Nature's Prophet one-on-one. He will survive this. Try to TP away. No! The last hit from Owned Me will destroy him, as in the end, Singularity will lose only 1 for 3. Still worth it, but hey, you lost your Anti-Mage.
Yeah. That's actually super important, but at least he got his
battle
fury.
Skitter killed him with the Venomous Gale, that was it. It was the ticks from the Venomous Gale. Alright, cool.
Yeah, and Nisha meanwhile got a kill on the... Nature? No, whom he actually got on the...
Sanking.
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty interesting how aggressive this Necrophos is with his Blink Dagger, and after that, he decided to go for the Pipe of an Insight, some kind of a must-have item when you're playing against... Sanking and against Venom. So why not get a pipe on the Necrophos? It's actually jumping in. DNZ, maybe that's his second death? Question.
I mean, he's losing almost all his health. The Reaper Scythe will finish him off at this point. He sees him. Good to see him. One last attack. No, Reaper Scythe, they want to commit. DNZ is just going around trying to confuse him, but in the end, he will die to the fissure as Nisha heals back up. He's a Reaper Scythe into the Jakiro. Jakiro will be glimpsed back, and Boogie will be the second death for Penta Esports. They can't really fight this efficiently. They just let him die to the Thunderstrike. They even just look him in the face as he's dying, like, ha, I don't even need to touch you. Trump can get this kill for me.
Well, that's pretty an interesting choice of an items. On Necro, he's so insanely tanky now. Got evasion with Radiance, constantly healing up, plus with Hood of Defiance and Unkillable Machine, to be honest. Plus, it's so easy to get this vibe on Necro because with the Death Pulse and Radiance, he's farming jungle super fast. As a great addition to this, they got a Blink Dagger, so it feels like an anti-mage, but in a miniature. Yeah, the idea is kind of the same. You destroy the camp quite well, not that fast as an AM with the Battle Fury, but still blinking from the camp to camp, being super mobile.
Yeah, I mean, what Necrophos as well I like about his items is that at first he goes for an item to, of course, farm, right? And you do increase the space of the map, especially lanes, because Radiance is not really the best item to farm jungle. It's more of a lane farming item. Then you go for a Blink Dagger for mobility and get space, and then as you transition to the late game, you start becoming more of a tank, like you said. You start becoming more of a utility carry for your team. Where Exotic Deer starts taking the role of the main carry as he gets the Battle Fury in the farm. And now, in the middle lane, another kill to the Sanking. They're going to try Static Storm. Enough damage. Yep, Kazor will actually commit to this. And you'll have to TP away. Not going to be lucky with this as Nisha now comes in. Tries to murder Venomancer. There's the Hood from Venomancer. Will survive this. And the Echo Sami's been committed. And now they're going to go in onto the Lone Druid. He's going to die to the Reaper Scythe. Can Necrophos heal in time? The Macropyre will end up burning him up. And Nisha loses his life. Not before killing Blazemon, though. So at least he can go home a bit happy.
Getting killed on the Blazemon was
Oh,
Quite
Boogie.
nice, yet Patos committing on the boogie kill. Nah, that's going to be a dead dragon. He's trying to fight back with the Ice Path dual breath. Question is, will Patos burn out? He's being affected by a poison sting so slow. Oh, DNZ finishing him off? No, the kill is getting by the Nature's Prophet. Lisage tries to TP away. Yep, he's going to be successful. Skitter, you tried, mate. You tried, mate, but it wasn't fast enough. I'm surprised with the amount of damage actually this Nature's Prophet is dealing with the Bear Maelstrom and Force Staff.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I actually really like the Nature's Prophet is TPing now there. He decided that it was not a wise idea to TP next to the Earthshaker, and it was clever to do that. Because they, of course, see your TP. That said, yeah, Force Staff and Maelstrom, usually you'd expect an Orchid much earlier on this guy, but that has been helping him out to farm a lot and also get the extra mobility. The Force Staff actually helping him out a lot, especially against the Necrophos slow with the Ghost Shroud, because he's a really slow hero in general to prevent the snowball last second or get away from the Ice Shards. The Force Staff this game is such a valuable item against Disruptor as well, to some degree, because you can get out of the kinetic field before it completes, and I think that's why.
Shaker. Because
in general, yeah.
Still got his fissures, yeah. Very good item. Later on, it will turn into some kind of a hurricane pike. Will work pretty well. And what's quite of an interesting that he got for the Maelstrom instead of Orchid, because when you're going for Orchid, your farming speed is pretty slow. Let's admit.
Yeah.
But Maelstrom grants you wave clear and the camp clear. Plus, with the Orchid, you're relying on this some kind of a solo kills, I guess, and the main target would have been anti-mage, but well. Let's be honest, Singularity will defend Exotic Tier as much as they want, especially in the beginning of a game, and they manned up around him quite a lot, so probably this Orchid wouldn't pay out that well for Nature's Prophet.
I mean, what's interesting here is that so what was good about this build is that if you close yourself into the Orchid like suggested earlier, it is true that's an effective item, but you're tunneling, or sorry, you're tunnel visioning. You have to do one play, which is you have to get killed. Otherwise, the Orchid, like you said, does not really pay out. Anti-Mage will outfarm you no matter what. With this build, you're able to play a bit more, let's say, versatilely. And oh, wow, what a good Savage Roar. They stop the TP. Oh no, they can't. The Glimpse Placemon. Even though he gets a fantastic Savage Roar, he's not able to complete that TP in time as the Glimpse catches him. And he will go down.
46 seconds without a bear. Question is how Singularity will use it. Probably it's time to push, but you also know that there's a Nature's Prophet on the bottom lane. He will try to take your access. Meanwhile, here comes a Snowball.
With the Walrus Punch, it puts Skater bad position. The Ice Path though does stun the Necrophos in the middle. Macropar uses the Ghost Shot, but just taking amplified damage here. The Echo Slam though from Patos with the Reaper Scythe. They ensure to kill the Venomancer first, and now the objective is DNZ. They push him out of the Sandstorm, and the damage from the Necrophos will be enough to just finish him off. As Boogie, the next target, they have a blink in just one more second. Even the threat switching for efficiency. Exotic Tier goes for the Rune first. They already killed Onmi in the backlines, and Boogie, the last target to die, he just gives up on life as Penta Esports is wiped off the face of this map.
I would actually give us style points for Patos for this 4-staff Echo Slam.
Fantastic. Yeah, that was really kind of slided in as well. That was a nice part. Like he kind of Echo Slammed as he slided in. No, style points, I agree.
And an easy Roche now for Singularity. Full 5-main wipe and from side of a Penta, and Aegis on Exotic Tier. He is fairly close to his Manta style, and when Orchid will appear on Nature's Prophet, and they will actually face each other, most likely Anti-Mage will already get his Manta, so it's not that big of a threat anymore, sadly.
Yeah, the Manta style is going to be very, very important to stop the Orchid, like you mentioned. It's not only that you can probably get a Lotus Orb at this point. At some point, maybe get a Lotus Orb on Tusk, after that 4-staff he's getting. And Tusk actually even got a pipe. So the damage that the Sankin can put out is really, really low. You have 2 pipes, one on Nisha, one on Tusk. So there's no way they're going to be able to stop him with magical damage. The Orchid is also not effective, like you mentioned. They're starting to counter everything that Penta Esports stands for. And the all-in push lineup is going to have to relegate themselves to split pushing if they want to win this game. Because they're not in the upfront position, they're not in the leading position this game enough to be able to take team fights 5-on-5 and go push in the mid lane, take towers really easily.
That's actually very interesting. Probably a lot of people will flame the team for having a double pipe because of this in the pub games. It's like, what? Why are you getting a double pipe, double urn, whatever? We already have this item, why do we need 2? But it feels like Nishi is more of a solo player in this game. It feels like he's running around alone a lot, and this pipe of insight grants him additional
Oh,
Survivability. Oh, they
Veno.
found someone.
Yeah, they close him in. Beautiful fissure, by the way, so he can't go back. Now the Ice Shards, that's the perfect close in. And Venomancer has no mana, so Mana Void's gonna hurt a lot. Venomancer prepare for the for impact. There's the Enchant Totem. He's not even gonna commit that. Reaper Scythe is, though, to get the extra heal on Necrophos, and of course that extra 30 seconds of respawn time on a Venomancer that has no buyback.
Well, and he Reaper Scythed him right in front of a bounty rune, basically teased for Venomancer a bit, and now he actually manages to finish his Aghanim Scepter on Necro even more. A Reaper Scythe in the fights, lower cooldown. That's an interesting pickup. Yes, it's really important, especially when you're playing such kind of a split push potential group. So they got no possibility to be that, whatever, we will go back anyway, we will try to backdoor, we will try to split push. Nah, not when your carry is dead for 30 additional seconds.
And you mentioned this in the drafting phase as well. Anti-Mage is particularly good pusher as well. So you can't really out-push an Anti-Mage that easily and just think, oh, we're going to just tower trade. Look at how fast Exotic Deer is going. Unless you have a Burst Strike, you actually beat the enemy team. Walrus Punch to stop the bear. Exotic Deer. Now Manta Style stick away the liquid fire onto him. They're able to take the tower at least, and now they go down bottom. They actually killed Nature's Prophet with the Static Storm Glimpse, and that's what they were looking for, as in the mid lane they continue this pushing. Apparently, Exotic Deer are very confident with that Aegis, knowing they can start putting pressure on these racks as well. And they really can't stop him for now. Manta Style in 11 seconds as well. DNZ comes in with a Burst Strike, does absolutely nothing. Ice Path is stunning for a really long time. In comes Venomancer, but is not carrying a Poison Nova on him, so Exotic Deer can just continue pushing this tower without the damage that they have. The Ruto finds him. He has to dispel with a Manta Style. They Walrus Punch him. The Epicenter already came out, but a bit too late. The Snowball stops all the damage, and they want to kill the bear. Not even the Lone Druid, the bear himself. They go onto Boogie with the ultimate, but that was absolutely no damage, as Boogie doesn't have that much mana. Reaper Scythe will finish him off. It's like, hey, I got it, don't worry. Nisha coming with a Ghost Shot. They even have Patos coming in with the help of the Enchant Totem. He's able to stun Skitter thanks to the Glimpse to bring him back, and the damage from Nisha is far too much as a Venomancer loses his life. Patos will also sacrifice himself for this kill, but the racks have gone down, and SNG can now go home satisfied after killing this bear, of course. Oh, Burst Strike. Anti-Mage maybe went a bit too far, but he still has the Aegis. Exotic Deer is gone right now, especially with the pipes helping him out. They have no damage to stop him.
Yeah, literally it's time to probably back off a bit. This one is already up. Also soon Skitter will be able to defend his tower. And question is, why not actually a BKB on a Nature's Prophet if you're playing against Disruptor and you want to split push? As we already mentioned before, Orchid was built much later. I understand that you already got an Oblivion stuff, but probably he could have left it and gone for BKB, because like that he wouldn't die, for example, on the bottom lane to Earthshaker and Disruptor. It would have been more efficient. Yeah, also it grants you some kind of an additional stats plus damage.
And we see now finally the Basher as well completed on this Anti-Mage. That is Abyssal Blade on top of that, so how do you deal with this if you're a Venomancer? You already... Oh, wait, bottom. Goodbye, Tusk. Oh, no way. He's gonna survive this. Static Storm. Can they actually fight this? Snowball will find this poor Venomancer. Tusk just gonna fight this till the end. Walrus Punch. He will die to the Nature's Prophet, but in comes Patos with a beautiful Echo Slam. They already killed the Venomancer. He sacrificed himself for just a Tusk, and the Glimpse brings back Owned Me, and he's gonna get owned by the Anti-Mage who even commits the Mana Void to the skill. The next objective is DNZ, and DNZ is trying to juke around the trees. I don't think he's gonna be too successful. Oh, he will be successful, actually. They just don't bother. They go on to Boogie, and they find Lone Druid instead. The Epicenter from behind. Patos, surprise attack him from behind. This man will not be able to survive unless the Necrophos starts healing him up. He actually stuns up and stops the Sandstorm from happening. Patos has way too much damage, and the Anti-Mage proceeds to decimate the rest of the enemy team, going down to the bear, taking away the possibility return. The bash hits, and the bear will go down as they finalize the Jakiro. That's a GG coming from Penta Esports.
I would actually call Patos the MVP of this game, even though Nisha done so much, but this amazing Echo Slams and Fissures just in time made the game for Singularity. Not completely, but considerable amount of effort was put by Patos into this win.
I agree. I think Singularity is played a really good game here, and Earthshaker especially. Congratulations. Also, I gotta